After years of disappointment and uncertainty, we've all finally had the chance to try the demo for the alleged successor to the RS and RO series, 83. But the public perception to the demo has been all over the place, with people begging for the game to be delayed for at least another year. We're gonna look at what they presented us, the good, the bad, give feedback, and of course compare it to past games in the series, because it's just such a common point that's brought up in a lot of the feedback that I've seen. But the purpose of the demo was to gather data on feedback and to see if the service can handle a bunch of players, because we don't want a repeat of so many other games where they take people's money and then on day one the servers are cooked. But I believe it was also done to say, hey, like, this game is actually real and playable. How did the demo go? Well, the things that I liked, for starters, is the freedom to choose your loadout with a weight system, where you can either take lots of frag grenades, smokes, a mix of both. But of course this can lead to the criticism of grenade spam being a problem, more on that later on. In total, there were 7 roles to choose from. The NCO, who is responsible for putting down squad spawns and giving marks for the commander, which has seen a fair couple of changes since commanders can build these tent structures, which acts as a spawn point but also as a radio for commander abilities. So rather than running all over the map to find a radio man or getting camped at the default ones, which has happened to me many times, this is a nice change. But speaking of getting camped, that can happen with these spawn points if the commander is irresponsible in how they use them. They can also be destroyed with explosives, but I kind of like this change because it does get the commander a little more involved, because I found in the past, if no one wants to go radio man, I just end up sitting at a default radio all game, just waiting for cooldowns to go down, and that's not really a good way to play it, but sometimes it's inevitably happens. But playing as the commander will be familiar, and the cool thing is, rather than the mark be an actual spot on the map, it's a ring, which means you don't have to be perfect when giving your commander marks. I am not a fan of the possibility of a resource mechanic. I don't think a game like this needs it, sort of like what Hell Let Loose has, since I've had moments in RS2 where I take up the commander role and I don't want to have to feel the consequences of the previous commander wasting all of the resources, but rather only have to worry about a countdown till I can call in decent fire support to hopefully salvage the game. But the other roles that were included, you have the basic rifleman with the only options of an M16 or an AK-74, and how they handle we'll get into in a moment. The machine gunner role with the M60 RPK, which is very bloody good, or the PKM. You've got the sniper rifle, which is alright, that was nothing too special. The grenadier role, which is just overpowered, quite frankly, because in RS2, for example, you pick the grenadier role. Now, I like how they did the balancing, because with the M79, you've got a long reload to deal with, and of course if you're in close quarters, you have to equip your pistol, which, even though swapping to your secondary is faster than reloading, in split-second moments, then you're still probably gonna die if you're not quick enough. But with the Northern Sapper role, I like what they did with the MAZ-49, because you can use it in a mortar mode, or you can just run around like a madman lobbing grenades in close proximity. However, the reload is still pretty long, but also if you want to use it as an actual rifle, then you're gonna have to deal with a worse MAZ-49, because I believe the muzzle is different, causing it to be much more inaccurate. That's good gameplay balance, but in 83, I found that you can just press at the flip of a button, essentially go from grenade to assault rifle, and I imagine that's realistic, but there have been moments where you can just lob grenade after grenade at long range. If you somehow fuck that up, then you can just swap immediately to your rifle and gun them down. And I feel like for game balance reasons, they should probably make, I don't know, maybe like a time penalty, reduce the amount of grenades you can carry, or maybe make the gun more inaccurate, but I don't know how realistic that will be. But there was a reason during this demo that everyone wanted to play that role, simply because it was just the best. But you also have the AT role, which was more so used to hurl rockets at buildings, since there were no vehicles in the demo. Those are the standard roles, but you also have the Special Forces squad that is limited to 1 per team, which has more leeway in their kits, like snipers, machine guns, shotguns, which as standard for the series are absolutely devastating. You've got carbines and silenced weapons like the MP5, and you can also use rocket launchers. But let's look at the gameplay and what it was like to play. I have a couple of issues, the first being the way the weapons handle. From what I've heard, recreating it like RS2 and RO2 is extremely hard since it was Unreal Engine 3 that made them feel that way, but I find that the weapons are a little too accurate and I almost always kept the gun in full auto. I'm terrible at what I'm putting, like I can't get my mind and put it onto paper, so just bear with me for a second. But the M16, for instance, in RS2, if you fire full auto, it does require a fair bit of effort to keep straight because the barrel wiggles and misaligns the iron sight. Whereas in 83, it feels like I picked up a stick and pretended to fire, which is kind of what I did a lot as a child, but it requires very little effort to keep the gun centered on target. Even with the M1911 in RS2, it wiggles, bounces, it feels alive, and this one just feels static. I've said this before, but the RS2 weapons have personality. They each are unique, especially when compared to more generic shooting mechanics like in Hell Let Loose. So I do hope they do something to make the weapons feel more alive that does give them a little more effort to control and rewarding more patient and controlled firing. But like I said, putting my thoughts into words can be hard for me, so hopefully that made it clear. But the graphics, that's another tough point, because at certain points I thought they looked more or less fine, but also at certain points they did look not the best. It had this kind of sterile feel to it at certain points, but I also could feel like that plays into the environmental art. But really I could excuse that because I feel like they just gave us a map that was relatively close quarters just so we could get the gameplay and see how the flow is and do all the environmental stuff later on. But it didn't really help that, especially for people on lower end PCs, the graphics didn't look too good, but that was also compounded by the fact that the performance was very iffy. For majority of it, I found myself to be getting decentish frames, but at certain points it could just drastically go down. But look, all these things considered, I do applaud them for releasing a demo and not something that's sort of a marketing thing like other games do, where the game is basically ready to release, but then they just say, oh, you guys can play it for a little bit before you can actually give us money. And I do feel like they definitely got the feedback they needed, but I also feel like people would be less aggressive if the game wasn't set to release at the end of the year, which is kind of my biggest concern. And from what I've heard, the game has made great progress over the year, but with the time we have left in the year, I do hope they can pull this off, and I imagine the devs are working around the clock to get it into a very good state. And the thing with early access releases these days is that people have become numb to it because the perception is that it's just an excuse to release something that isn't finished, take people's money, and essentially go on the promise that one day it will get to an acceptable state. And my advice as usual is don't write this game off immediately, especially based on what you saw in the demo. When it releases, just wait, check reviews, check your favorite YouTubers for gameplay to see if it's something up your alley, and I promise I'll get the video out on time for when it actually releases because I'm done for exams for the year, so I will try and get it out on time. And yes, the Black Orchestra video will happen eventually, just give me some time. But for those that missed the demo, I guess I'll just show you what you missed out on, so I hope you enjoy it. The AK is pretty damn accurate in full auto. There's virtually no reason why you should use it in semi. These guys doing... Oh Jesus, oh Jesus Christ, oh no. Okay, that didn't kill me. Yeah, the AK, I need to try the M16 more because people say the AK just doesn't live up to it. To the M16 that is, which, I mean, this gun more or less feels fine. That was a friendly, I just realized, because green traces are the Russians, so I think I had a teammate shooting at the windows there. Got a spy plane en route, which is, I like the way they've done it. Rather than give like precise information, it just gives off like, sort of like a cluster or like a density map. So we know there's guys flanking from over here. How many? We got no idea.
Not one step back. Go, go, go.
I'm sorry, they really need to implement the proper... Okay, that's pretty cool. They really need to implement proper... Oh, damn, you got a lot of kills. And remember, we're blue in the kill feed and icons. No, no, no. Wait a minute, I can do this. Let's see if there's a minimum arming distance. Backblast. Oh my god. I like the ragdolls and the gore. Is that, yeah, that's his arm. Alright. Oh wait, I gotta quick field dressing. No, wait. Did I just heal myself? You can walk around, is that? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Got him. See, the issue is that because, well, the reason why these guns are accurate, I don't have field dressing, so no, I do have field dressing. I didn't make a difference, but it's because these guns are firing, I think, 545, so they're just gonna be more accurate than a 7.62 weapon. Ooh, okay, the Grenadier is probably the best role so far in the game, because you get your standard AK, but if you're bad at aiming, you can just press B, switch to this, and then just bomb the hell out of the enemy. There's a guy over there running. That's a friendly! That's a friendly! Oh my god. I am so sorry. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. That was a good bloody shot though, you gotta admit. From all the way over there, hits the wall and kills him. He looks like a Green Army Men soldier. But like, just the way the color is over the model. Yeah, see, that's the tough thing. RS2's recoil was just... Nope, nope. Okay, come on, reload, bud. Don't do the SKS reload bullshit on me. Yeah, but this is why the grenade launcher is just the best class in the game, because you're just able to lob grenades at a really fast pace over long distance. And I got a bunch of kills as well in the kill feed. And there are no battle rifles except for the sniper rifles, I suppose, in this game. So it's not like I can just switch to something better like an M14. So I do feel like there needs to be a little bit more environmental stuff scattered around the map, like, I don't know, like a turned over truck, you know, that was carrying ammo and like the ammo's, you know, gone flying all over the road. Because people are asking for like the ammo boxes or like how to use them. I think that might be a cool way to implement it. Jesus Christ, that was a little close. But I do like how, even at a distance, the bushes still render. So there's like, you know, you can't turn the foliage to low. I didn't realize that was an automatic. I see you. I just missed every freaking shot. I wish we could test out the tanks. And I do hope they stick to implementing helicopters. That didn't kill him? Okay. Whoop, whoop. Got him. Got him as well. How many of them are there? There has to be a spawn point there. I ought to show you, and I missed the spawn. I hate, okay, one thing I hate, I hate revolving spawn timers, I believe is the term. I hate that. I hate it in Hell Let Loose, and I don't like it in this game. Because it's not like Hell Let Loose where you just instantly give up and take a gamble on the spawn time. It's like, you know, you've sat through the death, now you're in the spawn screen, and then you just miss the spawn window by a second, and I hate that. Just give me like 15, 20 second spawn timer, and I just prefer that so much, because I know when I die, that's what I'm expecting, and I don't need to be like on my guard to like quickly respawn in, and I feel like it's just better for the flow of gameplay. Got two. Where's the... Jesus Christ, I'm just mopping up Warsaw Pact soldiers. Oh my... Hey, I'm friendly. Yeah, I also don't like the physical barrier. All right, let's try and flank in. Are they... Full auto, that's really all you need. Yeah, because on a point like this, everyone's gonna be crowding through a choke point. It's gonna become a grenade spam fest, and I don't like that. All right, use these guys as baits. Clear, all right, good. Ooh, Jesus. Oh, there goes the FPS. Okay, he was just oblivious to his mate getting gunned down. Ah, come on, I have to do this. Bro, please. Bro, please. Bro, please. What's going on? What's going on? Got him. Okay, I got him. I got him.
They're shooting at us.
Oh, shit. Whoa! And with the grenade launchers on this part of the map, it's just... yeah, it's just a bit of a meat grinder. Where the hell is he? Got him. Yeah, so I think they should remove the physical barracks. Like, if I want to shoot someone, it's just harder to see them. He got distracted looking at his mate. Yeah, the explosion effects could use some work. This isn't toxic, is it? It's just smoke screen. Alright. No, why is my guy choking? Jesus Christ. Get out of here. Okay, that was... These bloody grenade launchers, I swear.
Creeping barrage is incoming. Get ready to follow it in.
Come on. I got like perfect stability. It's like I'm using a bipod. And I can just bully them from up here. I see you. You know, the in-game description of the grenade launchers, if I can, well, I can't show you, but I'm pretty sure it's called Tony's Noob Tube. I think that perfectly encapsulates it. It's giving me MW2 flashbacks, I swear. I want to try and sneak around. I lost connection. I still think it's better that this happens, and it happened, okay, it happened to everyone else. It's better that this happens in a free demo so they can fix it for when they start accepting people's money. They've already started accepting investors' money, but that's their money, not a consumer's money. So, you know, I'm not upset that, you know, I got booted, but there is work. There is still a lot of work that needs to be done for this game. But anyways, click on the video that is on screen because I know you'll enjoy it. And please leave a like and subscribe. My name is Tan2 and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.